Okay, doctorarjaybe, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I would call recharge. Um, what I mean by this is that every so often, it's not a bad idea to take a break in your workouts. Um, now, one of the ways of doing this would be considered an active rest. Um, one of the bodybuilders that I talked to when I was in my practice, what he would do about every third or fourth month would be a month where all he did was use light weights and do a lot of repetitions. Um, so basically, instead of doing 3 sets of 10, which is kind of the standards, what he would do is 1 set of 30 or 1 set of 50. And he would use a very light weight to do it with. And the whole idea was to kind of stretch out the muscles that have been tightened up by the strength training and to kind of get the blood flowing, etc., and give the muscles a rest from the strain of the heavy weights. Now, I can tell you that what I tend to do is to kind of like back off on the frequency and the intensity for about a month. Um, so let's just say, I'm doing my sets of 10 and I'm using heavy weights to do it with. Um, for about a month, what I'll do is switch to sets of 5 and also use light weights. Um, so basically, it's an easy month for me. And what I find is that this kind of allows me to recharge from the strain of always pushing the heavy weights and gives my body a break, lets it heal up from any minor injuries that may have occurred from the weight training. I think you have to do this every so often. With running, every so often I would have a week where I would do very minimal running to kind of recharge. So every few weeks or so, I would basically take a week where I didn't do much of anything. And during this week, I would basically decrease my running training, not so many miles, not so fast, etc., so that I could give my body a break. Um, I think mentally you have to do this also because the stress of training sometimes can cause problems, and every so often your brain needs a rest also. Just like every so often we take a vacation and go to some place like Florida or California or something like that to kind of give our mind a break. I think it's a good idea to give your mind a break with your weight training or your exercises and kind of take an easy week or an easy month like I do um, to kind of let yourself recharge. Of course, during that time, you shouldn't be doing anything like dieting or pushing the calories or things like that. Should try to just eat a normal amount of food. Not be so obsessive about losing weight or trying to gain weight or anything, but just kind of eat and enjoy. Again, this gives your mind a break, your body a break from the intensity of the training so that you don't burn out. There have been plenty of people who were training for the Olympics, and because they were training so hard, they basically did poorly at the Olympics. And, they basically achieved burnout. Now, I don't know if you remember that at the last Olympics, one of the gymnasts failed and had to take a break at the Olympics. Couldn't do the Olympic exercises, and so she was supposed to go for the gold and didn't do anything. There was also a skier that was an American skier at the last Winter Olympics, and I remember she fell in every one that she took. And this was one of the best skiers in the world, and she kept on falling. And one of the last videos you saw was this lady who had fallen right after the start, and she's just sitting on the ground while the rest of the people are doing their runs, and she didn't get up. She just sat there, discouraged, upset, depressed, whatever it was. But she just sat in the snow and just kind of sat there for the longest time. And like I said, the other skiers were still working, and she's sitting there on the ground next to the out of bounds line, and just kind of sat there and just said, "I'm done." And I don't think she really did much of anything. The next performance was a downhill slalom, and they said she basically did a safe route so that she didn't fall again, because this was like her third um, uh, um, thing to do, and the first two she had fallen. So this time she just kind of slowly went down the hill, didn't even try to race. All she wanted to do is to get to the bottom without falling. So again, here's somebody who is at the top of the standings in the world and couldn't make it at the Olympics because of the stress of what was going on. So it's the same way, everybody has stresses. And when you're doing a lot of heavy weight training, pushing your body, trying to lose a lot of weight, whatever it is, you put a lot of stress on your system. And every so often you got to recharge. So consider that, taking a break, having a month where you do minimal training, just enough to stay in shape, but not enough to build. And just kind of enjoy yourself for a month, take time off. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this video. Oh boy.